Thank you, viewer, for joining us on Unity Global News. Today is Tuesday, 10th October 2023, equivalent to the 25th of Rabi'ul Awwal, 1445 after Hijrah. These are the headlines of our stories. I am alive, says Yakubu Gowon. Court sentences cop to death for killing Lagos lawyer. Troops of Operation Safe Haven arrest 3 prison escapees in Plateau State. On the foreign scene, Hamas threatens to kill Israel hostages over Gaza strikes. And in sports, Nigeria, South Africa could face Morocco in AFCON group. Those were the headlines, and for the details and other stories, my name is Shuaibu Doro. Former military head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, has refuted speculations that he is dead. The retired army general told newsmen over the telephone that he is alive and wondered where the unfounded rumors started from. There were speculations in a section of the social media that the general passed on at the age of 89. Findings, however, revealed that the speculations on social media had emerged after a man who bore the name Gowon, Professor Samuel Gowon Kumo, the immediate past vice-chancellor of the Niger Delta University in Bayelsa State, died on Saturday. He was the chairman of the Committee of Vice-Chancellors of Nigerian Universities. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of 5 new aides to serve in the office of the president under the Media and Publicity Directorate. A statement issued by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Mr. Ajuri Ngelale, said the new appointments are with full respect for the tenets of Nigeria's federal character principle and the supremacy of merit. The new appointees are Mr. Fela Duro Toye, Senior Special Assistant to the President, National Values and Social Justice; Mr. Frederick Nwabufo, Senior Special Assistant to the President, Public Engagement; and Mrs. Linda Nwabua Akibe, Senior Special Assistant to the President, Strategic Communications. Others are Mr. Aliu Audu, Special Assistant to the President, Public Affairs; and Mr. Francis Ada Abba, Personal Assistant to the President on Special Duties. The presidential spokesman in the statement said President Tinubu has further approved the secondment of Mrs. Linda Nwabua Akibe to serve as the communications advisor to the President of the ECOWAS Commission. Troops of Operation Safe Haven on Operation Hakorin Damisa 4 have arrested 3 prison escapees, Chekirmak Tapir, Sen Makong Tapir, and Swarung Tapir, who escaped from police custody in Mangu LGA. Media Information Officer of Operation Safe Haven, Captain James Oya, in a statement on Monday about operational successes gained by the OPSH from 2nd to 9th October 2023, said the escapees were arrested at Barikin-Chiawa village in Kwampan local government area of Plateau State. Captain Oya added that the OPSH troops foiled an attempt by unidentified gunmen to attack Washina and Razak villages in Mangu and Barikin Ladi local government areas of Plateau State, respectively, noting that one suspect was captured following gun duel while others fled due to superior firepower from the OPSH troops. He noted that the OPSH troops also arrested one Mr. William Seaman in connection with the attack on one Mr. Nanbak Ayuba by gunmen in his residence at Shorom village in Bokos local government area of Plateau State, saying that during the arrest, troops recovered one locally fabricated pistol, 2 rounds, and 1 empty case of 9mm. According to Captain Oya, a total of 13 arrests were effected, 4 victims rescued from kidnappers, 1 cattle rustler arrested, 7 drug peddlers nabbed, 2 attacks on vulnerable communities deterred within the period, and 23 distress calls promptly responded to. The Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubomi Tunji Ojo, has said Nigerians will have their passport delivered to their homes offices and other locations of their choice from February 2024. Speaking on Monday at the opening ceremony of the International Week of the University of Lagos, titled Breaking the Borders of Partnership, Tunji Ojo said by January next year, Nigerians will be able to complete the application process online. He lamented that there was a duplication of registration of identity numbers country, including the BVN in the bank, the international passport, the NIN and SIM card registration by telecos. Tunji Ojo revealed that President Bola Tinubu had given the directive for the harmonization of the various identity numbers in the country. And moving on to some legal matters, the Lagos High Court sitting at the Tafawa Balewa Square on Lagos Island on Monday sentenced the suspended Assistant Superintendent of Police, Drambi Vandi, who killed a Lagos-based lawyer, Mrs. Omobolanle Rahim, to death by hanging. Justice Ibironke Harrison sentenced the ASP after finding him guilty of the murder of the pregnant lawyer. Newsman report on April that the court dismissed a no-case submission filed by Vandi. Justice Harrison ordered the defendant to open his defense as a prima facie has been made again. In his application on the no-case submission, Vandi had asked the court to dismiss the suit and discharge him, claiming that he had no case to answer. The federal government on Monday, October 9, debunked claims that Nigeria has restored subsidy for premium motor spirit, that is PMS, also known as petrol. President Bola Tinubu had on May 29, during his inauguration as president at the Eagle Square in Abuja, announced the effective end of the subsidy regime. However, the removal of fuel subsidy has been trailed by serious economic repercussions, which have led to protests from the organized labor. Just last week, the Tinubu administration managed an arrangement with labor, including the implementation of some palliative measures, including a provisional wage increment. Oil marketers and a section of the organized labor have recently alleged that the government had restored the subsidy contrary to its earlier resolve, claiming that with the removal of the subsidy, fuel pump price stability, despite fluctuations, is unexplainable. However, responding to journalists' questions at the presidential villa in Abuja after a meeting with the president, Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, said there is no fuel subsidy at all. The federal government says it will soon issue an order compelling airline operators to start paying compensation to passengers for delayed and cancelled flights not attributed to natural occurrences. Aviation and Aerospace Development Minister Festus Keyamo said this during a meeting with airline operators in Abuja on Monday. However, Keyamo urged the airline operators to build stable communication channels that enable passengers to get cancellation notices. Few weeks after President Bola Tinubu recalled ambassadors and 21 days before the October 31 deadline for their return, the federal government appears to have backtracked on the policy, fueling speculations that the government may have given them a month's extension. On September 2, President Bola Tinubu recalled all of Nigeria's ambassadors, both career and non-career envoys. Nigeria has no fewer than 300 foreign missions. The recall was communicated by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, and confirmed in another statement by the President's spokesperson, Mr. Ajuri Ngelale. Although sources at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said there was no going back on the recall, an ambassador and a senior staff at the Foreign Affairs Ministry who craved anonymity told newsmen that there is nothing on ground to facilitate the envoy's return on or before October 31. The real reason the government has not set machinery in motion for the October 31 recall of all ambassadors, deputy ambassadors and consuls general is still hazy. And that story takes us to the foreign scene. Palestinian militant group Hamas threatened Monday to kill hostages if the Israeli army carried out airstrikes without prior warning, targeting residents of the Gaza Strip. The Ezzedine al-Qassam brigades, the armed wing of Hamas, in a statement yesterday said every targeting of their people without warning will be met with the execution of one of the civilian hostages. Israel has pounded the Gaza Strip over the past 3 days after Hamas militants surged into southern Israeli towns in a surprise attack that has left hundreds killed. Militants who sprayed bullets under the cover of thousands of rockets fired from the Gaza Strip fled back to the enclave with about 100 hostages. An Israeli military spokesperson said on Monday that details of about 30 hostages have been given to their families. Let's look at some sports stories. Nigeria, South Africa and Morocco could be placed in the same group when the Africa Cup of Nations draw is made in the Ivory Coast on Thursday. The 6 top seeds include Morocco, who created history at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar by becoming the first semi-finalist from Africa. Nigeria is among the second seeds, while South Africa has had to settle for a place among the third seeds for the draw in Abidjan, the Ivorian economic capital. Nigeria, 3-time winners of the Premier African Football Competition and former champions, South Africa, were unlucky not to be seeded higher. The Super Eagles lie 6th in the continental rankings and ordinarily would have been a top seed, avoiding Morocco, title holders Senegal, Tunisia, Algeria and Egypt in the group stage. But host countries not only automatically qualify for the 2-year tournament, they also are always among the first seeds. And that sports story brings us to the end of the news on Unity TV. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Shoaibu Doro.